So, okay, y'all. How y'all doing this morning?
Doing good.
You doing good?
I'm doing good.
Fabulous. All right. So I tried something new so people can see all of us.
Okay.
It's like my makeshift studio. But hopefully next week, Keon will be moving the stuff out of the storage, and we're gonna try to turn that into the studio.
Okay.
So
great.
we can even when you do interviews, whatever, we can just go in there and be like, damn. Now I don't know what that means for the church. So we're gonna try to get at least a good hour or so in before they get the blah, 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 and then it's gonna be over.
Right.
Good morning, family that joined us in the room. So how was y'all weekends? African market, like it was off the chain. What was happening yesterday at the African market?
Oh, it was so many different things happening at the African market. The synergy was high. The King and Queen Foods Court, they are really, it's popping. It's really popping.
That cauliflower.
Oh, yes.
Woo!
Yes. So Bina Cafe,
Oh my God.
they have this deep fried cauliflower. It's kind of like ordering some chicken wings, huh?
Oh my God. It's so good.
Yes, it was divine. So shout out to Faith Muhammad and Nasir Muhammad. You guys got a good product there. Also to Berry Ashes with the Caribbean, Haitian. Yes.
Oxtails, and he had curry chicken.
And he even had Jamaican patties yesterday.
What? Wait a minute. Anybody said he had the
He had the Jamaican patties yesterday.
Barry, why you didn't tell me?
Okay.
Sounds like you're in trouble, Beer.
Oh, it was so good.
Yeah, he did well.
And he had gumbo.
He always have gumbo.
Everybody
I don't know if he's gonna continue that through the summer, but it's always good. It's a winner. And then also Nubian Taco, that was good. We have the young people out there working, trying to teach them. That's more of an entrepreneur program. And so just trying to let them know that, everybody is not going to go to college, although we hope that they do. But if they don't, if you can't find a job, you can always create one. So I just think that's an avenue that we need to explore a little bit more.
I agree with you. Let's look at that for just a minute. That's what y'all. So that thing about going to college, I think. So I went to the Black Women State of the Black Women, which is great, and that came up. I guess the sister got up there and talked about people like college ought to be the option and all that kind of stuff. Of course, I think she worked for labor or something. I can't remember, but also a woman came up and she was like, "I disagree with you a little bit," and I feel like in our community, one of the reasons why the Black community is not as sustainable as other communities, because we think we all gotta all be doctors and lawyers. Like we don't need mechanics, like we don't need people who do your lawn service or people who cook and clean, and like we act like the other parts that hold up a society that it doesn't exist, and we rely on other people. And so no, everybody's not going to college. You know how many college degree people we got that don't have a job and can't work, can't think, can't write, but they got a damn degree, they got a master, come on, y'all. Like we know we need finding a good mechanic. They make money. Don't act like they don't. Hey, I don't know if I get their car fixed. But
a good plumber, good electrician.
But yeah, thank you. I can remember
a
that
good
one.
Painter.
Thank you.
A good floor layer.
That's real talk. That's real talk. So no, that you working with those young people and having them do their own business now. There's an article I posted on my Facebook about a 21-year-old young lady opening up a vegan restaurant. She's 21. Oh my God. She's
and
21.
That's the way in the world. That's the way everybody is going.
Right.
So that's good. So where's the restaurant gonna be at, bro?
Oh, this is I think she's on the East Coast.
Oh, I thought.
Girl, no, I'm not here. I'm sorry.
I'm
like, girl, but I am trying to talk with my homegirls who can really. So I'm gonna be coming live from her home. I'm gonna invite a few people to come over and taste her jackfruit sliders, and she do plant-based food. And so I'm gonna invite some people. She gonna cook a little something, and then we're gonna talk about because her food is slamming. Good morning, Miss Jackie. Good morning. Sister LaRock, Sister Deborah from the Stagecoach. You better get out of here with that Stagecoach while you playing.
So wait a minute, jackfruit takes on the flavor.
Oh, girl, that's the new thing. I'm saying that's the new tofu for Black people who are doing vegan or plant-based dieting.
Okay.
And so this sister can cook. Cheryl is like a scientist. So I'm gonna come live and then invite some people up. We're gonna sit around the table and get it in.
Okay.
Because I had the sliders and I was like, this is delicious. It looked like it was beef. It really wasn't a chicken or whatever, because the way she had shredded, but it was so good. I'm telling you, that is the bomb.
Oh, wow.
So I definitely want to do something. You got to show Black folks that it's obtainable. Right. She's a real looking Black woman. And good morning, sister. So it's kind of like, I just really feel like her food is slamming. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
This is my homegirl, so she went vegan. She worked for Kaiser and they did something with their employees and doing the vegan diet or whatever. And she lost like a gain of weight, which was great. But it also helped her health because she had hypertension. She had, So I was like, wow. But I think for Black folks, because of how it's like somebody put some greens up right now. We be like, girl, we know exactly what the greens gonna taste like, whatever. But if somebody made those greens with tofu or some other kind of seasoning and it was good, you see a Black person say, oh my God, this is bomb. We'd be more apt to try it.
Right.
Then you say, here goes some kale or some chard. African Americans like, what the hell is chard? You know what I'm saying? Where them greens at? Where them mustards? Where them collards?
Right.
But there's other ways of making greens. Because I love some greens. And, I cook my eyes now. Smoked turkey. That's why I be like backing down from the meat because I gotta have that flavor. That's it don't taste right. But I've had it where people did not use that and it was great. So there has to be, like we can really do it. So right on with that, Dana. Like we do got to teach our young people, even if they don't go off to college. So I think sometimes college is overrated. I think what we're trying to say is that our people could be educated, right? And I look at all the other groups that are here. When I walk into the donut shop, I don't see a whole bunch of degreed Asian people running the donut shop. So I'm just saying, I don't see a bunch of degreed people, working on the mechanics of my car, or coming to fix the plumbing, or laying down my carpet on the floor. I think sometimes we got to act like it's one way or the highway, which is why we are so dependent on other groups to tell us what to do, and why we don't got shit as a people, or to be respected. As a people, I think we kind of act like it's like wanting to go get a job and you want us to come in as manager, but hell, you don't even know how to work the fryers. What if one of your employees walk out? How you gonna drop them fries? How you gonna? You got to start somewhere, and I think we haven't always, I don't know. I'm not against people having degrees. I think there's nothing wrong with it, but I think you got to know how to work everything and don't down somebody because they didn't go.
Well, another thing too is part of just forming an infrastructure. Like we talk about being sovereign, or we look at the idea of sovereignty.
That's real talk.
But if we all go to college, and a lot of times, especially if our children go away to college, which again is really, really good, but if they don't come back to the community to build in their community, then all of that talent goes to other communities. So that's fine, because that's going to happen. We know that. It's cheaper to live other places. You get more for your dollar. I get all of that. We could argue both sides of that. But for the people that are, I'm not going to say that's going to stay here, we do need people here to build a community, and part of having a sound infrastructure is having people that know how to do all those things. Even emergency preparedness, we don't talk about that.
That's real talk. Yeah, that's real talk.
Emergency preparedness, we need people just to be like, sound in that. We got to figure out a way to get them paid, but we need people that can say, if this happened, this is what we need to do. So it's a lot that goes on into having an infrastructure. So when we start talking about being equal or having equity,
that's real talk.
Well, you got to be able to, because a lot of other cultures, they ready.
Yeah. But that's because they all don't act like they all have to be one thing. I think we keep acting like Black folks are a monolith. We're not. But we do have that food, clothes, and shelter. We want to, we all want to feel good. We want to look good. We want to smell good. All that stuff is business. Can't no lawyer make you smell good. You know what I'm saying? Let's just be honest. Can't no doctor help you dance well. If you have surgery, but in terms of like dance instructors and fitness trainers, all of that stuff is their jobs. Yeah. Their jobs. Let me ask you sisters this. I put some things up on our little board. I'm going to be working on that. But one of the things, I seen two films last night, or not films, short videos, it's Facebook, about homelessness, and this is with Black women.
I saw that last
night. Did you see that
one?
She made me tear up. I was like in the car. I took somebody to the store. I was waiting in the car when they were going shopping, and I watched it, and I just got really emotional.
Which one are you talking about?
The one with the sister who was in 4500 country, and then she had a company, and then she got let go or laid off. Then she went to Alaska to work on a boat, and then they kicked off because she did a sexual harassment thing. Again, value. Then she came back, and then how, again, all of these social services didn't want to help her, but because she's the Black woman, right, yeah. And because she was persistent as the Black woman has to be, she made them help her. Now, how many of us is gonna make you help them? And so then, but the beauty of her is that now that's what she does. She helps people who are homeless. Then there was a sister who was living in a car with her 4 children, and then the white officer basically felt like, because he had a heart, he was like, yeah, we got to do something, talking to his wife. And so that, she had 3 older sons. They were grown, 17, 14, 12, whatever. And then she had a daughter, and she was living in a car. The tags and stuff was expired. And, you know, then they've arrested her and taken the kids and impounded the car. And then the guy found out what was going on. He was the sheriff. And this is out in Georgia, somewhere in Atlanta, I guess. But it looks like more like a suburb. I don't know what's Atlanta.
It did kind of look like
it looked like a suburb. It didn't look like the big Atlanta Police Department, like, you know what I mean? However, it was like, you know, so what I'm saying is the homelessness problem, the homelessness thing is a problem.
Yes.
And this is not like your average, I don't want to listen to my mama, so now I got to leave. No. These were women, she said she lost her job. The sister had 2 jobs in the car. She worked at Walmart and then somewhere else. And it just what she had, it made just enough money to feed her children. Right. That just hit me in the heart.
Yeah, that's a trip.
Yeah, I don't know if y'all seen those too. What's y'all take on that?
Ooh, it's, you know, the reality is a lot of us are literally, what we don't recognize is one paycheck.
Oh yeah,
one paycheck.
Some maybe 2.
Some maybe
1.5.
Some maybe.
Right?
Yeah, homelessness. Right.
That's real.
But the question would be, you know, what do we do about it? Because even, you know, if we talk about like what, July? It's been July since our house burned down.
Yeah.
July.
Yeah.
We're still searching.
That's amazing.
Searching. Because
look at Daniel.
You know, you want to
she in the fire and don't look like she's been touched, huh?
I know. Because black women are resilient. We're resilient, y'all. We gonna look like today. I look. That's what you got is yourself.
Yeah. So how do we, you know, how do we work that? Because a lot of my friends didn't have insurance, renter's insurance, or any of that.
Yeah.
Before my house burned, and it's like, I got it 15 years ago when I was living in an apartment, and they said,
I first got my rental insurance when I moved to the apartment.
And I got it, and I was like, okay.
That's something too that we probably need to encourage people about. Make sure you have rental insurance. The thing about that is sometimes it's a difference between paying that rental insurance and maybe getting your toiletries. You know, because some people are really living tight like that. But I get what you're saying.
But the thing is, though, if you look at it and you check the numbers, renter's insurance, if you get $100,000 to replace whatever was damaged for the other person, right?
How much a month
and then the payout could be a certain amount. That it only came up to like $213 a year.
It's not.
It's not that bad. And
that's
trust
true.
me,
that's good.
That's just not that much.
Wait a minute. Okay. Y'all see this? What they say?
Love it.
No. Right
Starbucks.
This cup was about, I'm ashamed to say,
oh my God.
Like
exactly.
Yeah, because
so that's literally like almost 3 months of renter's insurance sitting right here in this cup. So
real talk.
Again, it's really about our perspective and what are we going to make important. But then when we get in these situations, right? How do we begin to
build the network so we know that you're looking for housing?
Right.
We get this, a few people got housing for rent, and let's let the system know. How do we do that in some dignity? I ain't talking about being all, please help me, but we got to do stuff with dignity and pride, because that's what make black folks not want to turn other black folks, because we get gossipy. We be like, ass busted. I mean, not saying we all do that, but I'm just saying, how do we, because consumer-wise, we're in the billions as black folks, but how do we help each other? How do you really buy homes and basically say, I have too much income over here, let me buy some houses and then let me rent them out to people who need them, or do a quick deed or whatever. Like, how do black people build a way of, because you think of rent now, the average rent is at least $1,200. Well, damn, that's really a house note. The house note would be about 6 to 8 if you get the right house loans. So it's kind of like the one way we were able to get around white supremacy in its earliest stages or after slavery is that we pulled together. We did susus. We did things to support each other. Right. But the housing issue with us is and I'm concerned because if the black woman is down, it's over. Yeah. It's over. That's just the way come on. So I feel like, okay, y'all, this is a problem. These were 2 women who weren't, and I'm not saying people who are low income don't deserve, they have a little bit more, but when you're really not like, when things happen to you, like the sister losing a job, and then she tried to come up with a plan, and then she had to come back. She said when she was in Alaska, she had 4 quarters in her pocket, and she went to the Greyhound and talked to these people so much that they went ahead on and gave her a free ticket to send her back to Los Angeles.
They sure did. Right.
You know what I mean? Because she advocated. But everybody don't have that.
Right.
Yeah. How were they able? Right. I know this is off topic.
No.
But how were they able to let her off the bus and not paying her for what she had did thus far?
Who she gonna tell that to? You in Alaska.
Exactly.
That's true.
I'm agree.
And we're talking about
that was so low down.
Because that's the thing about feeling powerless and when you're not valued. She's the black woman. We are the lowest of the totem pole, even though we the top part. You know, we make everything go around, but we get seen as the bottom. And that's a problem. Yeah. I'm just being honest. And it's kind of like, and see how she said, I don't want to, she said, I'm my only living relative left. That was the other part. So she's not like she can go call her sister. Right. That just got me. I'm getting a little teary. Because I feel like, well, damn, she out here by herself. Literally, and what's going on me that she couldn't call nobody. You feel what I'm saying? That just, I was like, wow, that's kind of deep for me. God, I can't imagine being that kind of. But there's a lot of us out there who are that way.
Yeah. And then not only that, think about the strong woman syndrome that's been beat into us for so long. Yeah. How dare you ask for help? You mean to tell me you haven't found the house?
Yeah.
You haven't found the house yet? You're not what? How you get kicked off the bus? Oh, okay, so they took you what? You couldn't figure out how to all of that.
I'll be missing them old black women who knew how to teach you some game. Now, let's just be honest. I'll say their names, Miss Lillian Mobley, Miss Abrams. I mean, I'm really my mother. My mother was when we had people live with us when we was coming up.
Right.
You gotta get your room up. So and the kids gonna be sleeping in there. I'm like, what? My room? But you know what I mean? I didn't understand that that's what you did. This is a black woman with her children. You can't see them out in the street. And I ain't talking about people who play the system. We do have people who play the system. I am not talking about them. Right. Every group play the damn system. Exactly. But you know that sister that's struggling. You know that. I look at that woman with her 4 kids. Where is those children's father? She didn't even bring him up.
I was thinking about that too, but I didn't want to bring him up right now.
No, she didn't even bring him up. I know. She didn't say, well, my man, she was just like, I need some help. We living in the car. Yeah. We living in the car.
Right.
Don't tell me about the black woman. Y'all better go ahead. I'm just saying. I'm just, y'all. Right. So I feel like we need to really, black folks, and I'm talking for Sacramento, that's the community I live in, we need to come together and really look at this homelessness thing. I also think sometimes another big part of the homeless thing is looking at who's renting these houses. And I'm not, Lord knows, I don't have no power to be a racist. So you can't ever call me that. I'm a black woman in America. You can't ever call me a damn racist. I have no power to determine where you live, where you work, where you bank. None of that shit. Leave you alone. So you can't ever put that tag on me. But I also know, even when I was looking and everything, I seen a lot of Asian people owning homes, and they wanted like your whole arm and your 3 toes, you know, and so, big ass deposits. And I had never, 7 out of 10 homes was owned by Asian in California. And so what are they like? Are we looking at some cultural thing where they really are here buying up everything, and they're not gonna let black people live in the homes or make us jump through 50 million hoops? Or, I mean, let's look at their culture. I mean, I'm just saying, how does that fare with other people who are not from their culture? I know that's not politically correct to say that, but damn it, let's look at it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Are we looking at, we're very clear on white people being racist to us. What about these other groups? And I'm pulling out the Asians because 7 out of 10 homes are owned by them. And then, you know, I went to look at a lot of houses. And just some of the stuff, like, I'm gonna need Social Security. Wait a minute, Melfa, you don't know me like that. Right. You know, I'm gonna need to pay 3 times the amount of rent, and then the floors and carpet was like, how you gonna rent out some house top notch, and y'all don't even like to fix shit up? Right. Now the times I have rented homes for black women, they shit was intact. Best landlord I ever had. I lived on the lake before, and it was a sister who owned the house. That woman had everything in her house assured. Everything. Something break, call this. Something break. She had everything. That she took care of her property. Right. I took care of her property. She had the best tenant she ever had. Then I had an Asian landlord. This motherfucker, he didn't think nothing was ever, you know, let's do this. His cousin was cutting the lawn. This fool didn't want. I was like, oh no. Oh no, I'm about to catch a case. Right. So I'm just saying, I think that's also a part of that, looking at other cultures and their predator behavior on black folks, because really they don't think much of us either. Right. I look at how they treat black people inside their own culture. Where are those darker Asians, Laotian, people like that? How do they see them? So you know they don't give 2 boo-boos about us. But I'm just saying, but we be the main ones talking about let's make sure they include in this up color conversation. Y'all better miss me. Let me take a drink of this McDonald's coffee. But I go the hell off up in here. Y'all, good morning, peace, Andre, peace, brother Tim. And you know, you Deborah, you know what I'm talking about. I'm just saying, like, I think that we got some real issues, and we need to really be discussing and talking about it in a real way. And don't be afraid of hurting somebody's feelings. And I didn't even talk about the other group that's always on our coattails, but don't never share shit with us. And I'm talking about the Latinos. Yeah, I'm gonna keep that on solid. And I love y'all dearly. I love everybody. I'm y'all mama. I made everybody on the planet. But y'all don't treat us right. And we open up the doors. All of y'all are here on the backs of enslaved people who built this joint. Right. Because if that was the case, if you built your country, you'd be back there. But you're here. I'm sorry, y'all.
And what about that?
I want a tangent. That homelessness thing just kind of got right. That just was like, how is a black woman gonna be homeless? Right.
Yeah. Because it's truly, seriously, it's a reality. It's more. It's a reality. And it's like you said, because I mean, I even talked to a lady. The rent was $1,750, which was, I mean, 4-bedroom, 2-bath house.
Okay.
That's like the going.
That's the going. Where is that at?
That's the going. That was in the
what area?
It was 95823 area.
Oh,
that's
so
this
that's
area or Valley High.
That's Valley High. That's my area.
Yeah, 1750, right? Wow. And so she wanted
that's a problem.
The first month's rent, last month's rent, and then she wanted 1750 as a deposit. Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Yeah. Yep. And then she went into wanting 6 months of employment, and again, like you said, asking for Social Security. And I'm like,
because the minute you use my number,
right?
You might get arrested.
Exactly.
Girl, that's
so you know, all those things are really real,
and it tears you down. My sister says rejection has a way of tearing you down.
And it's like, are you serious?
You know what I mean?
Really?
It's real.
It's like, is this how we're gonna, play this game?
That's ridiculous. Mm-hmm. Like, who comes up? And see, when you have other cultures who come from countries where they don't have rules, you have to immediately give them strict rules, and then you have to implement it. You have to enforce it.
Mm-hmm.
You know, these are people who will buy a house and then break up all the rooms and have people rent our rooms. You know, people come from those cultures. It's almost like black folks need special protection. Now I'm gonna challenge Sister Javon. We need special protection, like almost federal protection for black people, because we're the only group that can't seem to get our stuff together because of the event of slavery and how we were taught and bred in this country. And so it's kind of like, no, we can't be like other groups. It's hard for us to pull our resources when people are constantly cheating you out of your just due. They talk about the B of A not giving people loans, Wells Fargo, probably all them goddamn banks, honestly, and don't want to give us redlining and stuff like that. They still doing it to this day.
To this day.
And they got to say, now we have a black CEO. You think I give a flying fig if a black woman is over something? It don't mean she has no goddamn power because she'd be too afraid to do anything because she don't lose a goddamn job.
Right.
Y'all don't get me started this morning.
No, but I feel you though.
I feel like black folks just gotta talk about it. That's why I'm across from this church. I think then the spirit gonna come in and be good. But let me ask y'all this. So this week they had to walk out with the young people. Who was y'all thoughts on that? I'm gonna let y'all go first. And I'm only saying it because gun violence in Chicago and Philly, and then that happens on the daily. That's almost like going to go get a cheesesteak in Philly. I mean, somebody gets shot up or whatever. Same thing in Chicago, like going to go get the pizza or the Chicago wings or something like that. What do you think about that?
So my thoughts are, I talked to some students at Valley High School that did that.
Right.
So I'm gonna say a third of the students that I talked to didn't even know why they were walking out. They were walking out because their friends was walking out. So group thing. Okay.
Wow. That's what my girl said in health professions.
Yes, and so, but the young people that were aware, they felt like they were standing up for something that they believed in, with regards to gun violence and violence in the school. Here's my thought, and it might sound crazy to y'all,
go ahead.
Because I totally get it. I get it. However, is this going to feed the fight to have these teachers be armed? Are they going to correlate? Like, they're going to?
That's a good question.
Because I don't think the teacher should be armed.
armed.
I don't think the teachers should be
Some of
armed.
the teachers are already armed. See, when you
Yeah,
live
they
in
are.
rural America, that's why it don't happen out there that much. Because they go hunting and stuff like that.
Yeah, because Florida is a right to carry.
Well, my brother is definitely right to carry. You can carry openly. Right. So check this out. So I asked my girls the same thing in health professions. This was really interesting. Only one of the girls in the class understood this. This one I know we need to really educate our kids on what the word protest meant. I went to the board. I put the word protest on the board. I said, pull out your phones. I had my kids pull their phones out my class and look up the word protest. And then they looked it up, and it says to fight, to stand up against. I pull out keywords. Basically, to stand up against something. I said, so you mean to tell me when y'all get ready to like say go see your boyfriend or skip out the window? The kids was busting up laughing. I said, do you go ask your mom permission to protest? Do you organize the way you're going to escape out the house? Or do you just talk to your little friends and then y'all make the plan and then you leave, right, and protest because you said go to that party? They said, well, no, we all did it. I said, then how can the teacher help you organize a protest? And they can't join you. Right. How do you, that's what a protest means. The teachers were basically trying to organize the kids to do the protest, but like they couldn't tell them to do protest. Right. So that's called a school activity when they're helping you to organize to do stuff. Then said, but it's not a protest. And so then it made the kids think. One girl said, we did posters, and I had put some of my cousins on them who were known gangbangers who died. And they said, why you put them on there? That's not the same thing as kids losing their life in school. What? Oh, sorry. This is a discussion. I love it. And so, yeah. And I said to myself, well, see, here comes value. I said, how is it a whole bunch of white kids can basically get the attention of the government and everybody else is so concerned, and then people in Chicago, when they've been killing each other for years now. Same thing in Philly, same thing in Baltimore. I can just go on down the list wherever there are Negroes who have been sold or brought here through slavery. You go to communities and it's in shambles. That's a fact, y'all. However, why do they listen to y'all when y'all protest? I put an article on my Facebook page that talked about Philly urban youth. Asked Florida youth, can y'all come stand with us? Why the hell are we asking white kids to come stand with us? Stand for yourself, black people. Right. Are they still the measuring stick? Do we not have value unless they have something to say about it?
You know, it's funny that you say that because I'm sorry.
No,
so we were at a parenting advocacy conference Tuesday, and one lady. Well, there was a couple Caucasian people. It was for Black parents, but there were a couple Caucasian people in the room, and then this one Caucasian lady. She stood up and she so eloquently started talking about the letters before and after her name and stuff like that. And so then, which is cool. I mean, do it. That's good. We need to respect that in a way. However, she said, you guys need me to advocate for you guys. And I understand that this, with white privilege comes a certain level of privilege that you guys can't, necessarily enjoy. She was right. But I felt like we don't really need you to get some stuff done. I feel like that was kind of arrogant.
It was her way of saying, I'm your master. Y'all my niggas, and y'all need me to.
And I was wondering, is people feeling what I was feeling?
No, because most of us we do need you, master. Yeah. We need you, master.
Girl.
Let's come on. It's the reason why we
I turned around. I turned around and stayed. I never did. I said, when she said that, and she might have said some really good stuff after that, but when she said that, it kind of made I was still stuck on that. I was stuck on that.
You want tone deaf. I'm with you. But I just feel like here our babies are asking, it starts very young, asking other white kids of the same age, please come stand with us because we're dying here. Right. And they're like, y'all, we really only got involved with this because we got shot. Yeah. It's kind of like what's that movie they had when all the white people got their money stolen, they went off to Wall Street and with the man and like, what's up with the money? What the name was that? Occupy. And then the white people started that. Now they want to occupy Wall Street because their money got stolen. But they've been stealing our money for years. Yeah, right. And you ain't talking about occupy the corner store or occupy the bank or occupy City Hall or whatever. Y'all want to occupy Wall Street because y'all savings got stolen. Well, we're here. We are your savings. And you didn't see me as a part of Occupy or I just think that black folks gotta wake the hell up. Like it's getting a bit ridiculous. I almost think that the product that came out of slavery is some of us. Like we are like little robots. We can't do that. They don't say boo boo, we don't boo boo. We'll hold the boo boo until they say, yeah, you can boo boo. You like, oh, thank you, master. No, dude, you're a human being. Go to the goddamn bathroom. Like I don't understand. So I just feel like that's the part of us as a people that's so damn irritating. It's like saying I'm a human being, but you yourself don't show up as a human being. How are these people going to respect us when we are begging them? Our babies are begging another group of babies to say, come stand with us, instead of teaching our kids about racism and white supremacy and history. And let me tell you why we're killing each other, why other people get attention when they get, because they have value and you have none. And then the big part is that we treat each other like we don't have value.
Yeah.
You know, that's like one time going to somebody's house. I'll never forget this. We took a whole bunch of kids out. We got to somebody's house. The dudes had to go to the bathroom. The boy went to the bathroom. He came out. He was like, Because the girls whose house we went to were very pretty. And so, he's like, I'm going to the house, use the bathroom. He said their bathroom was so goddamn filthy that he couldn't even pee in the toilet, so he peed on the floor. And I said,
He peed on the floor?
He peed on the floor next to the toilet. And I said,
wait a minute.
Yes,
what?
he did. I said, why was he said, Miss Rose, the toilet was just too dirty. He said the whole house was just filthy. He was just like, I didn't even want to pee. I said, but you don't pee on the floor.
You don't pee
but the moral of the story for me is, these girls look beautiful every day. House filthy. House bathroom filthy. I'm old school. My mom said, go check out the bathroom. I have boys here to make sure the bathroom clean before we send this so and so on that. Right. They didn't even care that the boy was going to the bathroom. They didn't write that he peed on the floor. It really wasn't. But the point of it is that he seen this value in their house.
Yeah.
And was like,
so
yeah,
I get it.
I'm not saying it was okay. I was,
No.
I was in that bathroom. So
but you know what? He was comfortable enough to admit that. So that was cool too.
I talked to my kids. I was like,
oh my God. Like, could you imagine peeing on somebody? Peeing on your own floor? It must have been really.
He said it was safe. He said he really had to pee, and I was just like, I kind of felt yeah, I was like, well, you don't pee on people. You don't pee on people for. But then I was on myself, but y'all look all cute and come out here looking fitted, and your house look like boo-boo. Yeah. That's not okay. Right. You should say our house like you can't use our bathroom. Right. At least have some damn shame. Yeah. Don't send them in your house and use the bathroom and he's going to be on the floor. That was disgusting, but that's what happened.
Oh my God, bro.
Let me ask y'all this. So, and I just know our kids don't really know what protest means. That's what I've learned. I think our kids are really confused about what gun violence is, because people think gang violence is not gun violence, but it is gun violence. Right. It is not about some little good to shoot kids or whatever being affected by gun violence. Gun violence happens, period. Right. And it shows you that white people really do love their kids, no matter what BS we try to say, because we don't like white people, whoever that is. They do love their kids because they show up. Right. And being white has value. I don't care if you're white with no teeth, no hair, and live in a shack and be in the river. Right. You'd rather be white than be anything else in America, because damn it has value. Particularly when you're with people who have melanin. Right. So that's hard to say. I know that people are like, oh my God, that is true. There's no such a poor white people saying no, the hell they are not. No, they're not. Quit acting like that. They ain't you. They okay with their position, so they can come to your house and take your position. Right. That is absolutely true. I ain't BSing. So another fact, I'm throw something else at y'all, because I just, I was really on the thing, like really watching stuff. They said that in Louisiana they have more black judges than any other state in the country, but have more black people locked up.
So our uncles is up there.
Did you get that?
Yeah.
One, and we say we need more black judges. So here's a state that has more black judges than any other state.
What are the prosecutors?
And judges make they make the decision. It's not the lawyers, it's not the judges.
I always feel like the prosecutors seem like have more power.
No. But the judge makes the decision.
The judge.
They're just people who are
present the stories and defend you. Right. Because we have cops who get off all the time with evidence that's overwhelmingly like, yeah, you really broke the law. Yeah. But then the judge ultimately has the final say. Yeah. There's another article that talked about how one judge, this is a white woman now, white judge, who received so much money, and that's how some people was getting off, because she was being paid off. So it don't matter what your evidence is. Like, if I pay that judge, you can walk. Yeah. I'm not saying it's right. I just think these are the realities of black folks that we don't talk about. Right. And that can be kind of irritating, when we're always behind. If we just can do this, we done did all that shit. We done did everything. We have been loyal Democrats. We have been loyal Republicans. We have been loyal Independents. We've been loyal this, loyal that. We have tried everything. My God, you know.
I think it's really, if we can figure out how to, where our ancestors, when they built their own communities, they had their own schools, they had their own shops and different things like that, and did not stand in a space of fear because of the reality or the opportunity that people, white people, whoever, would come in and just blow it up because they knew they couldn't take it, because it was that was our space. That was where we taught our children.
Anyway,
that's why we exactly. But now, you know, a lot of us we're so afraid of, you know, not having the 5, 6, 7, 10 bedroom house and the cars and, you know, the different things like that. So we concede to the way that they do things. So those judges, you know, they think about, okay, I'm going to do law school, I've done this, I've done that.
I paid my dues.
Mm-hmm.
I survived the white man.
And if we, Wanda mentioned it, if we don't value ourselves, if we're not seeing ourselves in the light of value, then guess what? When one of us stands before us, we're like, yeah, you just a piece of shit too. Yeah, they told me about you. Yeah, you kind of look like me, but you're not me. So you go.
I said that with black officers.
Yeah.
I said that with black officers. Like, nigga, what? I'm blue, nigga. I ain't black, I'm blue. I'm like, okay, yeah. Until you ain't got that uniform on, you pulled over by another white officer in the county.
Exactly. Right. And they pretend like they don't recognize you.
Right.
Like they did that chief of police. How do you not recognize the chief? Your boss, right? The person who comes in and gives out the instructions of the day. Who's gonna ride the horses? Who's gonna ride the bikes? Who's gonna be in the cars? Who's gonna ride? You didn't recognize this person.
Do you think it's possible for black people to police themselves?
I
have some coffee.
Yeah. Hold on.
Yeah, you know what? So there we go. That's that sovereignty piece. I think because that's what I think that is one of the things that prevents us from having sovereignty, or not even sovereignty, but just like how when you talked about when we get back to the place where we own our own shops and our clinics, and you know there are some people that do have their own clinics, but if we get to the point where we have our own, you know, bigger hospitals and we're just doing for ourselves and stuff like that, I think that's one of the number one things that that we would need to tackle before we can get that, is that to be able to police ourselves. Right. Because it's hard. It's hard to even call somebody if you like, just imagine if we had somebody to call instead of calling the police.
Real talk.
Right. Yeah.
It would be less people going to jail, less people with certain strikes, and it would just be so much better. So I think that is the number one thing that we need to try to tackle. But it would take it would take a level of commitment from individuals in the community that I don't know if they're willing to give. Like, you don't really have to really want to pursue being able to be how could I say this? You would want to really be able to, you would have to really be willing to really just die for having seen your people free and seeing them be able to maintain themselves. And I don't even mean a physical death. I mean just a death, like some of the things that you used to do, you're probably not going to be able to do. Right. Because it's hard. It's going to be hard to police somebody and you doing certain things. Right. So you're going to have to really want that. Like, as a people, we're going to have to really want it.
I think that's a good conversation piece. Right. I'm sorry, I didn't see the thing scrolling up, y'all. So Miss Jackie said, because I wasn't here to fight people, Miss Jackie said, why were they not walking out when black students were getting shot? This happens in our community every day, and it's just business as usual. Our kids' trauma is not recognized as important. Of course, I mean, we still act like the powers that be act like the whole crack thing. Like that, they gonna counsel the people to get opioids, but when black people was getting hooked on crack, it was more like you go to jail. Right. So I just think of our mind. I think we know that these people don't think that we're important because we are property. We are like the horse or the cat or the. I showed a video to my kids in the Bay, and it was that video that goes around and showing like what if animals were in reverse roles, and then look pretty disgusting, like how we treat animals. But that's how people treat black people. That's how I see it. Right. How many babies can you have? You know, we just killed your son. I mean, he's like I just ran over a dog, man. But like whatever. I'm not saying that treating animals bad, but I'm just saying we get seen in that light.
Right.
Our life ain't worth shit, honestly, to a lot of people. But sometimes, to me, the biggest part is it ain't worth shit to us.
Right. That's the.
I can't even worry about the other people. I know that they're, but I just it don't mean nothing to us.
Yeah.
We just, we
get immune to it too.
Yeah. What's called
something dissonance. Wait. Come on, Dr. Joy DeGroot.
But I remember when I seen this voice, he said
dissonance.
Is that what it is?
I don't know, y'all. I'm probably messing it up. I can tell y'all what it means. I can't pronounce it.
I'm talking about when the little voice sees a dead body, and one said, "Man, that's a dead body." It's a voice that the person did it, and then he said, "Man, remember the dead body?" It's when you become desensitized. Like, it's just like it's like you think you're in a movie. Almost like we gonna see him in the next episode. No, he's really dead. Yeah.
Yo, I hate to blame everything on crack. I'm so sorry, but when crack hit, everything what I thought, it just changed for me. Crack did that during that era, because it was during that era where we just really just started killing each other.
The high. So I'm gonna say this. I'm with you on crack. And I think we got it one day. Like when I interviewed my homegirl Leona, I so love that she was honest about her own battle with that, and now she's 20-something years clean. I love her always, but I love it when people keep it real about what happened to them, because that's the question I always want to ask people who are on crack, or when I meet people, particularly people I met people who was in Michigan Nation in the first resurrection or dispensation, whatever term, I can't ever remember what term to use, y'all. And they were on crack for a period. I would always say, what happened? Like, like how'd you get there? And I always ask them, and somebody's like, hey, we got disillusion, or our leader died, and we really thought this man was God. These are the things I've heard. It was real out here. It was killing us up. You wanted some relief from your pain.
Right.
Yeah. And I was like, wow, because sometimes I have to hear it from them. I don't want to hear it from people. I want to hear it from them. And so for me, that was healing, just to hear that for myself. Like, wow, because that was horrific what happened to Black people. But I think we don't want to talk about that. Or I've talked to women, they talked about how they were feeling not valued. You know what I mean? And we don't want to talk about in our own communities how we not value women and girls in our own societies. I always say that relationship between Black mom and son, and we don't really want to look at that. And I'm not talking about all y'all. Please, that's why I say some. I don't be trying to say all the Black people, but I also watch mothers like protect their sons to the utmost and feed their daughters to the wolves. Like she can take it, and then their son, we gotta protect him. This is Black man, and he they looking at him, but they looking at both of us. Don't get it twisted, because if they kill me, you can't produce you. Don't get it twisted. That's it. Game over. It's done. So I feel like that crack there, I feel like there's a lot of healing, and it's always beautiful when I can find people who are not afraid. Even though when Leon was talking, I can see her in her head, like thinking and like trying to like touch that place, but not touch it too hard. She was like crying. You know what I mean? Because I thought I had a sister who died from the effects of crack. So for me, it's just like, and myself, I was like, wow, I was really wanting to hear what she had to say. Because I think, Dana, to your point, that's going to bring a lot of healing to figure out what was happening with us. That's all I'm saying. So you right on money, I think, with crack, but I also think the Vietnam War, all those people who came back who fought in Vietnam, who just couldn't get their stuff right, or what was all the things that they experienced in Vietnam that they never got counseling for, or they gave a study today that said Black troops Black people in the military are reprimanded more by their officers than white officers. In the damn military?
Yes.
Are you kidding me? No. I'm sorry, because that was like, are you serious? Like, you know what I mean? So it's kind of like everywhere we go to try to pay our dues. I don't even know what dues we pay because we built this joint. So shit, what dues you owe me, fool? Yeah. Right. I don't owe you, you owe me. But I feel like everywhere you turn, people just treat us like shit. Yeah. I just never seen nothing like this. Honestly, like to the degree, like where it's like, even when we're with each other, sometimes we treat each other crazy. Knowing that I'm you and you me, and I know what hurts you because it hurts me.
Yeah. We got to do better at that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
We got a lot of conversations. I'm so sorry, y'all.
I know. I'm sorry.
Can y'all all read some of these? Yeah, you are. I did tag y'all. I will tag you, Danny. Okay. We have been feared and terrorized by being kidnapped. Okay, J-Bon. I'm just jumping on. She said,
say?
J-Mom says, we have been in fear and terrorized since being kidnapped.
Ooh.
Yet, however, we still are able to build Wall Street, Rosewood, and many other communities. That is so true.
Ooh.
You know, and we must learn to police ourselves. Y'all won't have to. Y'all can. Oh, and the model coastal. I'm sorry. I see your comment. She said, this time around, we decided to stop begging and rebuild. This time, we would have an army to help protect what we built and to help eliminate the fear. And here's the truth. Right on. And I'm gonna say that because I think that military part. I'm gonna be honest with you. The leader that I love and revere more than any other leader besides my mama, let's get on, is Fidel Castro, and I'm gonna tell you why. Ever since I've seen him, he's always been in fatigues. I've never seen this man in a suit. I mean, I've seen him in a suit as he got old.
Right.
You know what I mean? But there was something, they were very serious. I think the other part of the enslavement period for Black folks, it took away our ability to see ourselves as human, which means we think everything's going to be by diplomat. Like now we all running to go to college. Like, I don't know a lot of people that can build stuff after going to college. The people who I know who have built some major things and they sustain them were people who didn't necessarily go to college. They may have taken a class or two, but they don't have major degrees. I'm just being honest with you. People who are not afraid to think out the box. You know what I mean? Usually when you get a high position, it's not a position. We're always trying to make it. What I find with people who, it's nothing against degrees, but this is an observation from a young sister. I'm a little older, but still, I've been in this game for a minute. I noticed that when people have jobs, they're always trying to figure out how do we take what you have and make it fit in the system. Other communities take what they got and they build a system. Yeah. You know, it's like we know that Big Mama is missing. It's obvious. It's all over the place that she's missing. But then you'll have some niggas that we're going to call it this, we're going to call it that, and put it in the system. Well, it don't work like that. Because Big Mama will see that you're hungry. She don't need to go to a protocol book and say, what do we do with niggas that are hungry? They'll be like, get this girl some food, get her some bread, and let's figure out what's going on with you, sis. Right. You cannot put that in that protocol book. You can't do it. You can't. Plus, you got to care and love for the person. Yeah. You don't treat them like they some, like an animal or something like that. You look at them as human beings. You can't write a protocol for that. Sorry, I don't even know how to tell y'all that, but you really can't. And you know, Ia Colette said what it is: cognitive
dissonance.
Thank you. That's what she said. Thank you. I'm just scrolling up, so I didn't even see those comments.
No, yeah, thank you, family.
So to say, I feel like with that, I think that wow, nation building, but I also must say this: as we build, and a lot of us are still building. That's like when people say stay woke. It's like, fool, I've been woke and working. So stay woke is for you new people, for you new jacks, as we could say back in the day. New jack swing. But I feel like, some of us have been woke and working, and I feel like, we got to study history. See, the other part that the enemy does very well that we help him do even better is that we let young people disrespect old people like if they didn't make a contribution. I've never met a Jewish person, I've been around a lot of Jews, who disrespect anything the Jews did before because they felt like they weren't included. What they do, they pick up the torch. They don't have to pick up the old people have handed them the torch, been grooming them for the torch. Then they keep running with it. What else we hear is like, this is a new generation. Every generation is a new damn generation. That's just a part. That's like saying, this is a new summer. We will always have a new summer if you live long enough. So it's kind of like I see this level of disrespect, and then I'll be like, dude, first of all, who are you talking to? Because I've been in the game. You're in the game because I was in the game. You have a place to sit because I sat there. Don't get it twisted. I'm giving you a platform. I'm actually what you need. How dare you come for me like that? So it's kind of like, well, we know the person you probably should come at like that, you won't. Because they'll hand you your head, and lock you up and do whatever and beat you down and then get away with murder. Don't get it twisted. So I'm just saying we know that those errors are missing. But I'm always talking about it. So a young brother came up to me yesterday in the market. Brilliant young man. I was walking. I said, good afternoon. Young man, whatever. And he said, greetings, goddess. Call me a goddess.
Oh, I know who you're talking about.
And I said, okay, young man. He said, okay. Sister, I asked you a question. I said, yeah. And he said, do you think there should be some talk between black men and black women just like that? I said, well, I talk like that all the time. He goes, well, let me rephrase it. Maybe younger people like my age. That was very respectful. Yeah. I said, you know what? I think you're right, young man. I think you're right. So I called Miss Jackie over. Yeah. I said, Ask her this question. This is our elder. Bam. He asked the same question. Is Jackie? Yes, young brother. Yes. Right there. That'll be your first. He stopped talking. Then I seen Brother Michael Benjamin. I said, bruh. He came over. I said, ask this. Oh, this is like a big brother. I'm doing family, y'all. Right. I'm doing family. So then he was talking. He said, yeah, we started talking. And then he said, I said, well, I think the bigger question is for young man. You probably need to ask this brother here. What happened with them? That you would even have that as a question to ask us. I said, you need to talk to your big brother. Because he would be like his son. Right? Almost like this, like he's your father's age. Like I'm your mom's age. He's like in his, like I think he's like 20, something like that. And but the beauty of it is he had so much respect, honestly, that he was willing to listen. Okay. He said, and I said, so the brother gave his number. You know, Brother Michael was. I love when brothers bust the number out. Young brother. I get so psyched up. And then I said, so I'm about to get out of here because I was running late. And I said, so what you gonna do? Because he was saying, he said, I'm gonna get some brother. I said, no, that's not what you want to do. What did he say? I said, you got to call his brother. You know, call him first. That's your first thing. You're not going to talk. I'm not even giving you my information. You're going to call this brother. Right. And then we started talking again. Then I said, so I got to go. What's the first thing you're going to do, brother? He said, I'll call him. Nice. I said, now the ball's in your court. You asked the question. Mm-hmm. I heard you. Pulled the right people to you. Right. You got this brother here. Brother Michael Benjamin is the bomb. So it's like, he will look you up. I said, call this brother. Right. And get some history on why you have that question, because it's not coming to me. Right. You got to take it to the brother. Right. Ask what happened with them. Right. I said, then we can all sit down. But I don't want you to sit down with me, and then I'll be asking you stuff that I know you can't even answer because you would be dumb. Right. You don't know about this life. You don't know what happened that you were here asking this question. You know that I asked. I said, this reminds me of '88. Like Black Panther for me, y'all. And I don't know, Black Panther remind me of being in '88 and. With Public Enemy and Poor Righteous Teachers and walking around the medallions. I said, look, this is 88. Yeah. You know what I mean? And so for me, it's like, but what can we do to study to make sure this is not like every 25 years or so this thing happens and blackness comes up and Africa comes up. And I even talked to my African people who were saying they feel some kind of way when they see us wearing African clothes. I'm like, you shouldn't feel shit, really. You should feel pride that we're even starting to recognize. And I said it in a nice way. I didn't tell her she shouldn't feel shit, but what I did say is that you need to be willing to educate, but not with your bullshit either, because you guys are very tribal. Because he was a Nigerian person. I love it. She basically selling the dashikis from Ghana. So if you felt that way, why aren't you just selling Ghanaian clothes? But she did have some of her pieces up there. But I'm just saying we have to. Education is all around. We got to also make sure our African brothers and sisters know, like, hey, wait a minute, dude, we ain't like you. We don't come from a Pacific tribe from a Pacific area. Yeah. We were breeded over here, so we mixed up a whole bunch of people. Yeah. You look at us, we're not just all from Ghana or Nigeria. You don't know somebody was traveling that day, they came from Kenya, they was heading this way, since we were so advanced, in terms of trading with each other. Yeah. But I had to also school some of my African people from the continent, like, hold up, player. Hold the phone. Be proud when you see that. Right. I don't get mad like they don't even know what that means. You in America doing stuff you don't know what it means. Exactly. You need me to give you game. Yeah. I got my DNA kit. Oh my God, you guys came. So I just need to do what I need to do and send it back. What are you going to do it though? You shouldn't have I'm not going to lie to you. I probably got it by Monday. It should be. No, y'all. It's going to take 4 to 6 weeks. Okay, when you first get up in the morning, I'm saying before you eat in the morning, just go ahead and take it. Okay, right by your bed. And so it's going to take a minute to get it back, girl. Okay. I'll tell my experience this week. Y'all ready for this one? Okay. We're ready to talk about DNA. Oh, wow. So I did 23andMe. I've done 4 DNAs, and they all been on the money. The last one I didn't understand was, oh my God, what was that called? It was another one. It didn't match the other 3. Is Ancestry good, though? Ancestry. It wasn't good for me. That's the one I did Ancestry.me, 23andMe, and something else. All 3 of them matched up the same. Oh, okay. Yeah, and I was like, wow. So for those like, then I was like, man, shut up. You ain't got to test off and shut up with that. I think sometimes you do your DNA, it messes up people's lives that they were taught to believe about what they knew, but they ain't got no science to back it up. They just read a good ass book, and now they're gonna make it fact. But it can't be fact. It's fact. It's fact, and you're just alternative facts, I guess. Right. So I get an email from this woman, and she says we're related. We're 4th cousins, or 3rd cousins, or whatever. So I said, okay. So she gave her number. I called her. First I was like, she kind of don't sound black. So, so I'm talking to her, oh yeah, blah, blah. She's like, yeah. So we were trying to figure out how we're related and everything. And so she said, I know you're on my mother's side. And so I said, let me see what she looked like. So I was like, because she also connected to me on Ancestry, because she found me on 23andMe. So then she went to ask me to look at each other trees, whatever. We think we could possibly be related through my grandmother's dad or something like that, because she has black burns. We have black burns, blah, blah, blah. But I looked at hers, and it basically talks about what we have in common. So this, first of all, you look at it, she don't look black, but she don't look all the way white. A white person can look at me like, yeah, you mixed with something. We look at you like you mixed with something, but you ain't black. Because I don't count everybody as black. I'm sorry, I'm one of those Negroes that could be like me channeling what I learned from Jewish people. Jewish people don't make everybody Jewish even when they are Jewish. Like Hitler was Jewish, but they don't make Hitler Jewish. Right. Because he's Jewish to his mother. That's how you're Jewish.
That's how you're Jewish.
He's German, but he's Jew.
So he's okay. I got it.
Yeah, you get that? It's kind of like Tiger Woods saying he ain't black. He ain't black. I mean, excuse me, I'm saying, but he's not black to me. If you ain't claiming me, I ain't claiming you. Right. I am not. I'm not one of those people like, please claim me. I'm not one of those people. You ain't me, I ain't you. Holla next. Let's move on. You know what I'm saying? So as we keep going, so she kept trying to say like, well, maybe, I said, I'm gonna be very honest with you. If we're connected to white people, then I don't want to get to know you. I'm just gonna be honest. I'm not a romanticist. The white in me, I know it's from slavery. We don't have no white person in our family that was in love and blah blah blah. That was all slavery. And I'm not trying to romanticize being mixed with white people. Ain't that deep for me. Right. Unless you got a compensation check, like I'm sorry that my great-great-grandfather raped your great-great-grandmother, and now I'm gonna get your check. Then we can talk. But other than that, I ain't interested in sitting down with somebody, descendants of somebody who raped my ancestors. Right. I'm sorry, y'all. I'm not that loving. That's probably why I'm a spiritualist and not a religious person, because you ain't gonna make me believe so much yet. I'm a human being and I have a right to say, yeah, I believe, but I don't believe you should be abusing me and I should continue to help you abuse me. Sorry. So that to me was kind of deep. So we had a cute little conversation, and I said, well, maybe if we figure this out, we can talk again. But if it's a white person, don't call me back, because I'm not interested in fantasy related, because the slave master. Like, I'm just St. Patrick's Day. If I got Irish in my blood, I'm not trying to celebrate that, because it's not because the person came from Ireland, met my grandmama, or whoever. And then I'm sorry, I don't do romanticism. I think that's a part of our sickness. We're the only group who want to claim people who owned us, lynched us, did all kind of crazy shit to us, enslaved us, and then be like, well, we're related. I'm sorry, y'all. I just don't come from that. That was my experience with the DNA. So I was like, ooh, this kind of deep. I'm looking for black people. I'm like, wait, man. But she clearly wasn't like wanting to say she was black. So I was like, yeah, you're really talking to like a real black woman who's proud to be black. So if you ain't proud of that shit,
feel blessed.
Go ahead on and go ahead and block me. Yeah. And I'm gonna block you. I'm very nice. I'm very nice though. I'm very nice. But I think the man that we're connected to, that's the person who we claim, what we thought is what we were taught was black but Indian, but he really wasn't. He was just mulatto. Like, that's what they call him on there. Sorry if anybody's not gonna like term, but that's what he was. And so I think that's the person that we're related to, because that was something we could, But I know on our side, she did say this, because she's looking into her DNA. I said, I know for me as a black person, our DNA on both sides, my grandfather was adopted, and my mother's father came from somewhere else, so there's not a lot of history on him. So even the last name my mom had is not her real biological father's name. Got it. And to me, that's like slavery. It's like it's hard to find people. Yeah. When you know that we was trying to survive and people fell in love, and then you left the person, you don't even know this person had a different dad, and the man she did get with just took him on, and you think this is my granddaddy, but the DNA don't matter. I mean, it's Lord Jesus. Yeah. That's how we some resilient people, because we just keep on going. So I think, but I also know, and I'm gonna say this, I know a lot of people that I've done their DNA, they relatives do be coming for them. I get all the emails, and it's kind of like, wow. But that's because like you can clearly see, like, oh, it's like more close, like their great grandmoms. Okay. That you can still count because they're younger, and so they can still connect the dots. But I know my grandmother was born in 1910. Because my mother had her when she was like in her late 30s, whatever. She was the youngest. And so, her mother before that was born right into slavery. See, she was born in 1910, and she's the baby. My grandmother was the baby. So her grandmother was born in like 1850 or something like that. It's a trip. So it's kind of like, I know they think the slavery was some yesteryear thing,
Yeah,
but it really was not.
Yeah.
First of all, we got the that in itself is deep. I think black folks got to go back and look at the Civil War and dispel some of these myths about Abe Lincoln like loving us and shit like that. I think it's really sick.
Yeah.
But you know that I seen some really good stuff this week. But you know, even when the war really was not about ending slavery, the war was really about economics, and that the South had free labor. You know what I mean? I think we gotta quit acting like, you know, like Lincoln. Look, come on, y'all, damn. Y'all go to school, you're educated. Shit, but what kind of education are you getting? You know what I mean? Because how could you believe that?
You're getting what they're handing, you know, to you, and until you can
fantasy land,
right, and until you can really say, okay, I got this, but there's some pieces missing, and then start making those connections with those people who have that part, who have been able to engulf themselves in our history, in what it really looks like, and stepping back and say, okay, I'm ready. You know, can I get the other half of it?
Let me ask y'all this. Do y'all think religion has been a hindrance to us doing that?
Yes.
I'm not anti-religious at all, because my mama was a Christian, my mama was Catholic. I'm so good with that. You know what I'm saying? But do you think for some of us, Christianity has made it, has that been like more like a drug that has been given to us, so we don't wake up and see that we really are drowning in the sea? I don't know.
I think it definitely has made us more docile.
Okay.
I think it just kind of like made us more, you know, have us, you know, help us fall back a little bit, make us kind of fall back a little bit. You know, I get, you know, Christianity, that was the religion that we were kind of converted to or whatever, and I get how people, whatever their spiritual practice is, that's how they feel that it saves them or makes them a better person, or really for me, I think with Christianity, it helped people get through some real difficult times, you know, having that belief system. So I'm not mad at whatever anybody chooses. I know you guys are not either, but I do feel like it just made us a little bit more docile, you know?
Yeah, I agree.
Because
I agree.
Yeah, we need to. I sometimes I think about the Native Americans. To me, I just think they are the bomb. And it's specifically the Lakota.
Mm-hmm.
They were so like they fought, and they were really
fighting.
Oh wow! And I just be looking like even with Harriet Tubman, y'all. And I always tell you this, bro. I think I may have told you this too, Dr. Trump. I feel like Harriet Tubman, I love her so much, and I'm so much in awe by her, because I'm gonna tell y'all the truth. As much as my heart is so big, and I love all of us, once I got free, I don't know if I would have went back. Like,
yeah,
I don't know if I really would have went back though, y'all. And I'm
I'm grateful.
Yeah.
To tell the truth.
That's why I love Harriet, because she was the bomb.
Right. Back on back.
Yep.
She could have just been.
And she was a Christian, but she took the words literally.
Right. That's the thing.
See, I don't think we do that. I don't think we do that every day.
Yeah.
I think we like somebody else gonna come and do it.
Right.
But really, fool, you gotta come do it.
Yeah, you're the one that gotta do it. King James, he done doctored the stuff up. I don't know. I think I agree. I'm not a scripture scholar, but I do believe that I get what you're saying when you say that we kind of misinterpret the scriptures. You know what I mean? Or we don't really apply.
I agree.
Yeah.
I agree. We got some comments, y'all. I'm so sorry. I think I gotta move my screen up. Y'all see me over trying to get the work in.
Well, mine won't even go up.
Did you look? Say, do you see any comments on yours? I don't have to. Y'all can all read comments, but I also know.
Watch this.
You see that? Okay, y'all. We just trying to get this in. I love this conversation.
You see how I can't
yes. Call me Empress. I would act like one. Call me Queen, and I would act like one. Right on, sis. Right on. I agree. Colette says, it will assist us in this war to take a close look at the Haitian Revolution. Look at the triumphs, how they remembered their spiritual powers, and look at their mistakes. That's so true, that we do not repeat them. No need to reinvent the wheel. Just Just modified, update. Right on. You so right. Peace to Danielle. You see, y'all see the comments on there?
Look, okay,
I
let's
see.
see.
I'm gonna tell you which one you can start from. Okay. I'm gonna give you him.
Let's see. Yeah, that's it.
I see Peace Sisters from Berlin, Daryl, Peace King.
Peace. Okay, but I'm down here with Jackie Rose. Maybe because she's my friend.
She's my friend too.
Okay, do you see her? They're like, she's my friend.
No, but do you see? Look.
I don't know what's going on.
See, I'm looking at it.
That's all. Did you hit the live though? So like,
I didn't even see this. You saw it, got that?
But this, I'm looking at it from.
Yeah, hit that like that. Yeah, hit that like that. Now, start going up. Let me see. We even made it go down.
See, yeah, it's stopping.
You know what you should do? Type in the comments. Just say peace in there. Y'all, sorry, we're gonna take it. So Jackie Rose said that young brother, it's not the young brother from yesterday. That young brother was very respectful, but wanted answers. Yes, he did. He stayed there with me for over 30 minutes, continued to discuss the relationship between the black man and the black woman. I cannot wait to continue the dialogue with this young man. That was so true. Some of the young man. Mm-hmm. I'm glad you said it. I was so late, but I'm glad you stood there and talked with him. Let's see. And the sister, you're totally sick. Yes, we are. I'm dead serious. I just really feel like, oh Lord Jesus. She said religion did its job dividing people. I agree with that. It's definitely divisive. Pieces of peace, brother Daryl. Peace, family. Okay, good. I see y'all there. Okay, I'm sorry. I just got caught up. I'm so sorry. But I really feel like y'all, these are great discussions to have. And I do think we need to look at the strength, because I was always taught, and I always say this, y'all. And I learned from Dr. Colin. I don't know where he got it from. I mean, who knows where he got it from?
Dr. Colin.
Yeah. But I love what he used to tell us: the Bible, the Quran, and the Torah. Those three so-called holy books. I say so-called because I don't know how they hold them and everybody to touch them, but it's okay. It can be used as a tool to your enslavement or a map to your liberation. And I think Harry Tubman used it as a map to her liberation, but for most of us, it's a tool of enslavement because we use it to beat up people, to talk against people, to be like, my God, save me. You know what I mean? So, Nat
Turner,
right? Yes, he did. He got inspired by the words. That's saying when you use it correctly, it should work pretty well. But I feel like a lot of us use it to be like, it's just kind of like we just use it to beat up on people. Maybe we got beat up on. Right. That's like somebody growing up ugly and then they turned beautiful and they turned mean because they really acting out when people treating them bad when they was ugly. I don't know, that's the best step I can give. Because I've seen that sometimes with young people and you be like, yeah, y'all really tripping. So I think the books are they're great books. They're meant to inspire. But it's like, you can also use it to pimp people, right? To be wicked with people.
Have you ever seen the movie Eli?
The Book of Eli. I was just thinking about that.
You talked about that. I haven't seen it.
He wanted for.
That's exactly what he said.
The Book of Eli. So what year was that made?
That's Denzel Washington. That's my husband. Oh, no disrespect to him.
No, you have to share him though.
No.
You gotta have my
why?
Yeah.
Girl, that's my man. You know my okay, real quick, y'all know we jump off. What was your favorite Denzel movie that you think about like, oh my God, and y'all we coming back, but it's nothing happens. We have it's Saturday morning.
I'm gonna tell y'all the truth.
What's your favorite movie? I'm sorry.
Huh? You love what?
You love it was Malcolm?
Oh yeah.
I wanted to be Betty Shabazz. She was like,
no, I love it.
I what she said about what the brother says that I'm talking enough for a tall man. I'm talking enough.
All right.
I'm saying, what's yours?
Yeah, you already know what I'm gonna say.
What?
Fences.
Oh!
Because I just look like his. Yes, I know. Because it wasn't really like his strongest role, but it was to me. It was a deep role. Y'all that know me, y'all know. Like I like that deep, that beneath the surface stuff. To me, it was a deep role, and I like it.
Hey, look, Denzel sexy. I mean, I don't care if
I mean, he was.
I don't care if he was bloated. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, he was sexy with them
Wait, I'm gonna tell y'all mine. All right. Mine was More Better Blues when at the end when he realized the woman he wanted, she's like he was kind of bad, like, well, save my life. And then it was that thing when he looked at her and then he picked her up and carried her up those damn steps. Oh my God! I make my living with my.
She was like, "So you want me to save your life?" He said, "Yes."
I was like, "Well, I'm making big too much now."
Yes.
Okay, y'all. That was our little thing. I'm sorry, we back.
I know we got kind
Lord Jesus. Okay, so Sister Danielle, back to this thing about the religion. Sister Danielle said them books were written by men too.
Yep.
That's true.
Yeah.
Now that I'm in seminary school, seminary learning the text, I see human hand all in this. Apostle Paul was beefing with folks too.
Yep.
Some of the scriptures remind me of rappers' beefs. Laugh out loud. You know what? That's believable, sis. That's totally believable. But and I'm right there with you. But I just know this inspiration you can gather. Like I like it when the book says honor your mother and your father for all your days should be long. That's just something that your grandmother would say.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So I get that. You know, but some of the stuff like we go, you know, they said pimping is in the Bible. I don't know because I just know pieces. My mama say read this to her. I never really dove into the Bible. I just think I ain't gonna lie. When I thought the Bible made you crazy because everybody who I know read it was kind of crazy.
Oh, okay. So that was your
shit. I was like, I ain't read that. I ain't touching that thing. That's what I thought. That's how I got older. Because I know people who knew the Bible, but they were really crazy. And I was like, is it the book? Because it just seemed like that's what they would be rattling off. Like it would kind of sometimes make you crazy. But I think it's because you're crazy and maybe you didn't have the right, you know what I mean? You didn't have the right guide to help you. You're right, to help you with the book. But I do know that it depends on how you tend to translate.
Oh, okay. So I see one.
Okay, good.
It's real good. Don't eat fruit that does not bear seed. That makes sense.
Whoa, wait a minute.
Okay, it's telling us not to eat GMO. I like that one, and I don't know if it's
I like that.
or what, but I like when it says, I'm paraphrasing too, but it basically says, a wise man prepares his children for his death. Isn't that Proverbs?
I don't know.
Yeah, me either. I don't know.
Maybe this sister here, Sister Israel, maybe you can tell us, because it seems like she may know that Bible. Even you too, Danielle.
Yeah.
I just know growing up with people who do that Bible inside out, but then they can't keep a job and shit like that. Like, I just didn't understand how other groups could be reading that book. Or even when I see Muslim men, I'm not leaving Islam out of conversation. Lord knows. Islam is shit. I mean, Arabs, you know, who were Muslim enslaved black people. And even when you go to Africa today, we all wrapped up and then they still treat us like we the damn floor. So there's something I don't like really being a floor. I don't mind being a floor for my little nephew to crawl on, but I'm not gonna be the floor for some grown ass people to build their whole empire on. Like that's just not okay. But I feel like you know, yeah, I just feel like that Bible and that Quran, that Torah, right? You see Danielle?
Yeah, Danielle said, yeah. Folks read it completely out of context, and translation is key.
Yep, I believe that. I totally believe that. So I feel like they're great motivational books. I just don't know how well and enslaved people. Then the other thing about people who do use these books, they also have a firm belief in who they really are. So when you see Chinese people have their own church, you go in there and they have, you know, Jesus looking like them. They don't even give a damn. The book say he doesn't look like them, but it's something about seeing God in yourself. Yeah. I ain't mad at that, but they gotta have industry, they gotta have schools. They sustain themselves because they really do know who they are. They don't stop them from wearing their jade, which is still a part of Buddhist tradition. That's another story. But they can practice other things, but in the core belief, they know they gotta provide food, clothing, and shelter for self. Right? They is not that. I've never seen an Asian person in the bread line or in the soup line. I've never seen them begging for shit unless they with us. But when they with their own people, they don't get to show up as the Asian community. Like we have an Asian community center or whatever who gets to have school contracts, but they don't have one black person in their management. Right. But all the kids they make the money from is what? It's black people. Yeah. So I'm just saying we're the only group that you can come to America and pimp. And black folks won't say nothing. We defend that. But it's their right to pimp us. How dare you? That's how black people. That's their right to pimp us. Shit, we need to be pimped. That's our job. We supposed to be pimped. You know, you be like, damn, like, won't you just take several seats and shut the hell up? And you know what I mean? Do what white people do. When another white person wrong, they'd be like, we didn't see everything. Yeah. They immediately start to
y'all should hear my co-workers defending Trump.
I know some Negroes that
they literally defend him, and I don't even engage in the conversation anymore. But it's just kind of like, are you serious?
Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Here's the thing, but you know what the beauty of it is? That's when you be like, that's their right, but it's also your right to be like, you know, I don't want to hear that because you know, white people they hate to be ignored. White people hate when you make them irrelevant. You know, we used to being irrelevant, but they don't like to be hero.
Yeah.
I'm just gonna be.
Well,
they
that's
don't like
good
me.
with
Like,
me.
you don't see them.
I'll be in my own little lane, y'all, because I be having so much stuff. I'll be in my own little lane, but it's just
What I do like about Trump, he reveals crazy people, and he reveals white people who really believe those white people needed a hero. They need a hero, and they got it in Trump. And so we need to see who they are and don't forget them.
Don't forget
that his job was to point out these things to us. And I'm not a Trump fanatic. I'm sorry, nobody said Trump is not fighting for me because he loves me. That's really get that straight. But I also like that, I don't mind seeing the devil in person. I'd rather deal with the devil. I don't want to deal with the devil's assistant or the ex-slave of the devil. I don't want to deal with none of this. I want to deal directly with him because I can have this mutual understanding. I watched something yesterday with the black lady from Britain who has a show. She kind of gets on my nerves a little bit. Sometimes I hate when people don't know black culture, but they're over here making money off of black backs. And they had Shiraz Ali, who ain't seen any eyes on there. And then they had a white man who wants to make some town in South Dakota all white or white supremacist, whatever the hell. Who knows? He can go this way in America, going to look like that. But anyway, then they had this black man. Of course, he was darker than 1,000 Midnights, married to a white lady, and he wants to know why he ain't liking him and some other bullshit. See, that's some mentality slave shit right there. And so they were trying to make sure. And I'm not a big fan of Shiraz at all. But what she was saying, even when she was talking about him, she still was saying to the black man, I still love you. You the bomb. Of course this white woman gonna love you because you are the bomb. I was to myself, well, wait a minute, y'all. Like, how dare you? And then to watch other black people, of course, God, black people, we love ourselves. I ain't no racist. Shut the hell up. She has every right to feel that way. You would do that with the white supremacists because the white supremacists will come to your house and blow it up. Right. So you ought to be afraid of them because they will come for you. Let's not get it twisted. You have no protection, black woman. You barely have protection of your black man. So, you got another one?
No, I'm so sorry, y'all, but I gotta leave.
I know.
I'm so sorry, I gotta leave. But I just love both of you guys, and I feel just so blessed to. No, I'm not trying to gas y'all up. I'm serious.
Oh, you're trying to gas me up?
Yeah.
I like that gas though. Yeah, I thought I was good gas.
No, I love being in y'all company. I love y'all. I got to go.
You ain't really gotta go. No,
I go to work.
I know you gotta go. I know y'all go to 11 today.
We open up at 11, but we usually meet 30 minutes before. That's our little weekly staff meeting. And I know we probably got a lot of debris phone and stuff. So I love y'all. I love being here with y'all. And I'll see y'all next week.
Okay. Bye. So real quick, let's do some rapping because I know church gonna start in a minute, girl. You know how that church go, girl. They get in church and be all over for us. So basically, let's do a few little rappers. Y'all, we had a good live discussion this morning. I ain't lying. Real quick, did you hear about the sister in Brazil that was basically executed? Fascinating.
Yes.
She's an activist.
I saw that late last night after I got back in and I saw them. I was like, wow. And the article was really written as if everybody was just kind of okay with it. It's just like nonchalant.
They've been
guess what? We killed her.
Yeah, but they've been protesting, which is beautiful, about her because she really was she was a real activist and she did a lot of work. And I feel like that's just kind of deep how somebody can come and take this sister out and then kind of seeing our lack of response here. Even though that's in Brazil, but Brazil has the second largest population of black folks outside of Africa. So, the first largest population outside of Africa is Brazil. But it was like, wow, like when you're a leader, you're really doing some work, people will come for you. Will come for you. Last thing is we get to this wrap up. Also, Joe Crabshack used a lynching and it's a table decoration. You hear about that?
What?
Yeah. Joe's Crab Shack. I don't know how many of y'all, I haven't been to Joe's Crab in years, honestly, years. But they said, I guess they have some decoration they use. Maybe it's a placemat or something. And one of them was a lynching. And now they apologize. Like a gathering of people for lynching. Back from the early 1900s. And so I wonder what people think about that. A lynching. Yeah.
I mean, was it given? It don't matter. I'm trying to.
Yeah,
a decoration.
Yeah, it's like a placemat, or it could be something on the wall. So yeah, I think again that goes back to the value. I think my takeaway this week is we really got to start valuing each other more, because sometimes it's very apparent that we don't value ourselves, and the other group is definitely not going to value us.
And we bought into it.
That's real
You
talk.
know, we bought into it. It's one of those things where if you remember, and I know you do, if anybody, the Willie Lynch letters, and how they talked about, okay, these are the behaviors that you do in order to make sure that the women are bound against each other, the dark against the light, the woman against the man, the child against the adult, and different. And so, whether we want to believe it or not, they have actually taken that and figured out new ways based on our growth in reading, technology, and different. And they're just using different scenarios with those same premises to continue to do the same thing.
Real talk.
And as they do that, to keep bringing it up, we keep perpetuating it.
That's real talk.
We keep perpetuating, just like they said, do it for a year, and they'll carry it on.
Well, that's how they got the agendas past black folks. Now those agendas are bigger than our survival.
Exactly.
How do you propose that we get healing though? Let me just do that on the way out the door. Because I know church is going to start in a minute. I'm going to tell you right now, they're going to be like, but we got our soft jazz playing and everything. And y'all, I enjoyed all y'all comments this morning.
Yes.
Everything y'all was like chiming in. I just feel like black folks, we got to keep having these discussions. We really got to keep having discussions. How do you think we get to the healing?
Just like you just said, the first thing is going to be having the discussions and not being afraid of allowing all of that stuff to come up. It's just like walking around, like when you know you've overeaten, and you get this feeling in your stomach, and it's sitting right here, and you're just like this all day, you know. But then when you say, okay, enough of this, and then you go to the bathroom or wherever, and you allow all that nastiness to come up, you can move on to the next phase.
But where do we do that? Let me explain this to you. So, for instance, the ACEs survey, which I really love, that's something really, I'm going to be doing some stuff this week with our sister, Kelly Ty Griffin and Modesto, basically administering that ACEs, so much professionals, blah, blah. How do you really propose to people? Peace, Brother Imhotep. How do you propose that we, thank you for picking that up about the crab shack. Thanks, I just heard the bass.
Yeah.
How do you propose that we really do that? Is it through church? Is it through spiritual tradition? Is it through spiritual baths? Is it through praying with warriors? Like, how do you propose that we get some healing in our communities? What's some of those solutions? I'm gonna leave with a little bit of solutions before the church get the thump. I just heard the bass y'all drop. Go ahead.
I personally, because I've looked at, you know, church and different things like that, I personally think that it's really getting back to the basics and doing those spiritual baths and talking to people who really know how to guide you through those pieces. Okay, what does it mean, you know, when you go into meditation and when you put talks or prayers out there, and really getting back to what our ancestors actually, how they got through.
Mm-hmm.
Is really what it comes down to.
You're right on.
Because I mean, those things, because think about it, Harriet Tubman had to have more, and she had more than just a gun, right? She knew what that played its part. It was needed. Boom, 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 boom. But she also had to do that self-care, and she did that through knowing. I'm pretty sure. No, I wasn't there. Okay, I get that.
No, I get you.
But I'm pretty sure that she honed in on the healing stuff that her grandmother and all of them that taught her. Right? So when you find those people that know those things, make those connections.
Real talk.
Make those connections. Don't be afraid of, okay, I've gone through, because seriously, those are some things that I've had to work through, right? Just because I've been taught a certain way, raised a certain way, and different things like that. But because I put out, okay, I know I need more. I know there's something missing. And when those things are presented to you, you know, you be able to sit back and say, teach me. And that's how you get the healing, is being able to sit back and say, teach me, and allow those people who are, as in the world that I grew up in, the SME, the subject matter experts, allow them to teach you. And that's how that healing comes. Who gives two flips? I'm trying to be good, y'all.
I know, you're doing good. That's my potty mouth. It's not.
But you know, potty mouths are actually a sign of the great intelligence. So don't get it twisted.
I'm with you. I'm with you, sis. I'm with you. I just be like,
Just, just do that. That's how we begin. It's a put away your ego.
real talk.
Put away your ego. And those people who have the ability to connect with our ancestors, because that's how we get the healing. Because they had the strength. Because if they didn't have the strength, we would not be here.
That's real talk. Let me wrap up in closing. I want this dear sister Israel. I want to mess up it. Is it Ursula?
That's what I thought.
Is it Ursula? Okay. Ursula Israel. I want to say, she said you could also read, say hello to one another. You ain't never lie.
Yeah.
And then 2008, no anti-blackness, period. Sister, I'm telling you that anti-blackness is real, and I'm right there with you. And finally, she says connect the dots. And no, thank you, sis, for all of your input, because I think those are things you can do immediately, is saying hello to people. My mommy said you can always say hello. And smiling too. I think when you smile at people and they smile back at you, I believe they give you energy. That's because I've experienced that when it's like, hey, and everybody's like, hey. You know, it's like that brother, when he said, peace, God is. I was like, hey, young man, it made me, that to me is all a part of the healing. Because I think some of us walk around feeling broken like that because we feel like we don't see each other, we don't value each other. Thank you, family, for tuning in. We'll be back next Sunday, sitting with my sisters on Sunday, and we'll talk about some more stuff. I'll be inboxing some of y'all. Mwah, holla, peace, family.